Hey, how you doing? For this video, I'm filming this in the Ogden Cemetery. For the past almost 2 decades, I've picked this cemetery apart in extreme detail. In fact, I could give a tour of this cemetery. I could show you where the oldest. I've picked this place apart probably like nobody. You know, and I've walked through here. Like when I go on walks, is where I go most of the time. I know this cemetery really well. This is my favorite one. Because as you know, I like Mother Mary a lot, and this is always my favorite one. It's made me cry a few times when I walk past it. So I'm gonna say this here. I don't mean any disrespect if this is somebody's mom or dad or something, you know. Giving respect is actually what I'm doing, you know. Maybe you hate LGBT people and like that's disrespectful for an LGBT person to like your dad's and your mom's tombstone. I don't mean anybody any disrespect. I hope you would just forgive me. Respect is what I'm giving, you know. I'm saying this is like my favorite one. Anyway, it's one of the things that sucks about being trans, you know. You can have a favorite movie star or a favorite athlete, and you never know if they hate transgender people, and they might hate you the second they see you, and you're like all in love with them, you know. It's harsh, but life's tough. So anyway, so the white robe Yahensue. So this is the third level, the final level of being a Yahensue Rasta witch. It's an important one because you know, it's true humility, you know. That's what this one's all about. And true humility, see, the thing about spirituality is, like, the mistake young people make is they say, you say a spiritual concept and they say, oh yeah, you know, they know all about it. They know all about it. They don't even want to hear the rest because they already know everything about the subject, you know. But it's one of the problems it's one of the reasons we have problems on this planet that are actually not hard problems to fix, or problems that the high priestess could fix. You know, now the high priestess has all 3 aspects of the goddess, you know, the little girl, the fertile woman, and the crone, you know, the high priestess card, the empress card, and the world card, you know. It has all 3 aspects in it, and we all are connected to all those things. We all have male, female, 3rd, 4th gender. Everybody has all those things in us, and we connect with the mother, and she takes us to you know, Mary takes us to Jesus. You know, we connect through the high priestess pathway from number 6 to number 1 in the Sephirot. You know, because the feminine aspect of the goddess, of the deity, you know, which is both the god and the goddess, the king and the queen, is you know, because in the Kabbalah there's a saying, you know, wherever God is, there is also Shekinah or something like that. Shekinah, you know, Echeye is you know, the masculine, you know, and Shekinah, where she comes from, Shekinah, S-H-E-K, you know, is the feminine aspect of the deity. In witchcraft, you know, there's the king and the queen aspect of everything in the tarot and everything. But different subjects correspond to different things. The subject of manifest form and manifest spirituality and manifestation altogether is a feminine concept, you know. So we go to the mother being born, and then we're taken to, you know, to number 1 from number 6, you know, and you could say born again process, you know. But you might say you're born again every time you connect that way, you know. You know, just because somebody's born again doesn't mean they're done with spirituality. That's all just that same mistake, you know. Spirituality isn't something you know or something you hear and understand. It's something you do. So that's like the key thing with the white robe Yahensue is that the green robe you're hearing all the processes, all the things. The blue robe, you're living it and doing it. The white robe, you've done it, and so now you're trying to break it down to a lifestyle, you know. So like if you study any form of spirituality any religion. Hopefully you study all of them, and you don't take my word for anything, and you're a free thinker. But when you're really well educated on everything, you'll notice that nothing trumps these concepts. Really everything that claims to trump these concepts is just things trying to capitalize on these concepts. And the new era, everything after the times of the end, when the red dragon will be bound and we'll be in peace. The universe isn't going to force us to live in peace. It's these bad things are happening to teach us how to move on, and how to, peace is something that we have to do because we've done the things we claim we believe in enough that we understand them the right way through doing. It's something you do. Jah is a verb, not a noun. It's an action. It's something. It's a living thing inside. That's why you call it the living Jah, the living God. So the white robe is all about that, service and love and doing, Not that you know everything, because the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. The learning and the knowing is everlasting, But so like a big thing is like with the conquering Lion of Judah, Haile Selassie, Revelations 5:5, only the Lion of Judah would be worthy to open the seals. And you see that in Rastafari. A lot of Rastas, they think they know everything, but that's fair, especially if they're in their 20s and 30s. Everybody in their 20s and their 30s think they have it all figured out, and that's why you see older people more humble. But a lot of older people, especially these days, they're all these transgender people. They think they got it all figured out. If you listen to them, they think they're the master of every subject there is. That's not a true master. A true master doesn't claim that they're the expert on everything. There's no such a thing as a person that's an expert on literally everything. That's a red flag. The Lion of Judah is the Lion of Judah, not because Haile Selassie knew everything, but because only the Lion of Judah identifies with, the Lion of Judah, the person that opens the seven seals, And the reason the seven seals are opened is because they'd be sealed until the time of the end. It's something that nobody's going to know. You shouldn't expect anybody to know until that's happened. And then once that's happened, then you can know the chronology, and then you can know kind of where to point the finger, And pointing the finger, when someone points the finger, the 10 more point back at you, It's not about judging. It's about interpreting for the purpose of moving on to the next step in our evolution, in our progress as a species, which would be peace, outgrowing war, and understanding the oneness of all of us, and even beyond, like stage 6 of ego maturity. If you've listened to the How to Meditate ones on the Start Here playlist, stage 6 is being human-centric, but stage 7, which is true enlightenment, is ecocentrism. Being ecocentric. You're one with the whole universe. And and that's why that's why Mother Mary is often dressed in blue. She's the high priestess, and she has the Sacred Heart, and Jesus have the Sacred Heart. You connect within through Mother Mary. Who takes us to Jesus. So the Lion of Judah's purpose isn't to say, look at Haile Selassie, he's perfect, though. Wow, even though he was like so long ago, the 30s and 40s and 60s and 70s, but mostly like the 30s and 40s and 50s, that was a long time ago for someone to get it as well as the youth do today. You guys, if you're young, wow, No matter, listen to anyone else that you think gets it. They don't get it at the last minute. Selassie was pretty solid. Tough to beat. Whether you believe he's Jah or not, but he's a demigod. And that's part of the lesson, that the incarnation is a demigod, not a full god. That's ridiculous. It's also a contradiction. Nobody's supposed to be able to be around God, or it would burn you up. Remember, that's what it says. So it's a contradiction to believe that the incarnation is a full God. The best the incarnation could be is a demigod, And it's not about figuring out 50-50. It's that, it's all just a teaching that has a purpose, And so the white robes, the big thing is the fifth seal. The Lion of Judah would open all the seals. When Haile Selassie opened the fifth seals when he went to Jamaica. And when he went to Jamaica, he gave the Rastas and other people awards, you know. And these awards, according to the fifth seal, the fifth seal calls them white robes. Now, Haile Selassie, I know the newspapers and the people covering the story, when it happened in, I think it was 1965, when Haile Selassie went to Jamaica, they didn't call it a white robe. And so that's also part of it, you know. A white robe, Yahensue, needs to know how to look at the bigger picture to make the metaphysical interpretation. You know, you've looked at archaeology, history, scripture, considering what scripture really is, because you're educated on who wrote the Bible, that there's no such a thing as a full God, and there's no such a thing as a book that's the Word of God. You know, they're just teachings of elders that are sacred and can be learned, but so are you sacred within, in the conversations you have with your guardian angel and the works within, you know. But yeah, you can't tell other people how to live. They need to be connecting within and be doing their inner work, you know. So when Haile Selassie opened the 7 seals, he gave everybody white robes, he gave everybody awards to put his stamp of approval on Rastafari, you know. But it doesn't mean that everybody should listen to everything they say. There's many branches. Some people use the word Rasta to mean branches, because there's so many branches in Rasta, you know. And Yahensue is just a branch too, you know. It's a branch that I started, you know, so that nobody can tell me what I can and can't do, because that's ridiculous, you know. And that's within Rastafari too. That's blue spiral dynamics, you know. And the Green Robe Yahensue playlist, you'll see that there's the blue spiral dynamics, and then in the blue robe there's the is it the green and the yellow, and then the orange, and then or is it the orange and the yellow, then the turquoise, you know. By the time you've listened to all 3 playlists, the green robe, blue robe, and white robe, you've listened to all the different spiral dynamics of the psychology of maturing a person, you know. And so you learn that everybody's place is sacred, and everybody's thing, you know, it's all sacred, and everybody's right in a way, but the only person that's wrong is the person that in a fascist controlling way thinks everybody needs to believe the same thing as them, you know. So the white robes that Jah gave out, they said, well, shouldn't this be the end? You know, if you read the 5th seal in chapter 6 of the book of Revelations, they say, shouldn't, you know, what about all the blood that's been shed and everything? And Selassie, the implication of giving these awards, of giving these white seals, is that this isn't the end, it's more like the beginnings. Yahshua, Jesus, taught that in Matthew chapter 24, that these would be the beginning of sorrows, you know, not the end. There's still more bloodshed, you know. The last will be first, the first will be last. The white robes that were given were just the first that got it. Now that needs to be understood all the way down to those were the last. The last will be first, and the first will be last. You know, the first are the people that have the microphone and that everybody's listening to. The last are the humble people that are real, you know, the true people that are connected within in the right way, you know. And so he was giving the white robes, and now it needs to trickle down. It needs not trickle down like Trump would say, but it needs to trickle up to the people on top right now, you know, until we figure out peace and we live in peace, you know. And so there would need to be more bloodshed and everything. There still needs to be more wars. Of course, the war of Armageddon is a place. Armageddon's a place. Herbert Armstrong wrote about that. I think his book, What is Armageddon, or something like that, you know. And even Herbert Armstrong, he's the Elijah, so it's a pretty high-ranking prophet, but he was full of mistakes, you know. And it's just not about perfection. It's about making the right concepts and learning the right things so we can move to the next level and end some of these problems. Stop spending so much money on military, and stop using war to solve problems, but to see our similarities and unite, and not need everybody to be the same religion and the same this, and stop saying there's one baptism, one this. That just means that every religion's self-sufficient. We need to move on to the things that matter, how to be one with the environment, so that we're using renewable resources, and you know, and that we're educating the kids, you know, and not saying, you know, like critical race theory is indoctrinating our children. It's indoctrinating our children? That's absurd. You know what? Teaching people about the realities of what happened during slavery, and philosophizing about how there still would be problems. I mean, open your eyes. You know, you don't think that there's still racism going on right now? That's wow, you'd have to be disturbingly ignorant to think that. And so you want to force your kids to be disturbingly ignorant by making it illegal to teach them concepts that are necessary for us to realize world peace, and so the red dragon can be bound, you know? So that's the whole point, you know? So so the white robe, Yahensue, is about service and love, and about designing lifestyle and being a good example and teaching by example, so it ripples out.